you fear your own worth? Do you fear that there's something lacking in what you've got to offer? Do you fear you've got nothing of value to give to people? Do you think that there might be something that somehow you're missing, and you struggle with your self-worth and your confidence of perhaps exactly what you're offering? And do you forget who you are, bluntly? Because if you look at the two previous deadly sins of comparisonitis and this imposter syndrome, there is a massive problem with understanding your self-worth if you fall into either of those horrible sticky bear traps. What we're going to talk about today, day 4, we're here to talk about own your mountain. What does that mean? It means about understanding who you really are and being proud of that, and knowing that what you've got to offer is something that other people want, and it's what you've got to offer, not what you're copying from somebody else. And we've got to be really clear about this. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck, in seeing somebody else that they want to be like, and then they think they've got to be like everything about them. And you are intrinsically valuable for who you are, for your journey, for your story. And I'm going to tell you a little story today about Own Your Mountain, story time. And you are intrinsically valuable in terms of the way you can impact others' lives. And you can only do that if you come from a place of integrity and authenticity. So here we go. Own your mountain. What does that actually mean? It means having real clarity about who you are. I'm here today back in my office, back at my little home rig studio, and I'm ready for my week. I'm ready because I know who I am. I know my values, my beliefs, and we're coming on to those in the next couple of days. And I know what I serve and who I serve and how I do it. So that's my how and my why rolled into one. So how do you get clear on what you offer to people and why you do it? Well, you have to start with knowing your mountain. So I've got a lovely place that I go to, and I'm lucky enough to have property abroad, and so I go to Spain and I can sit on my balcony and I can see this beautiful valley laid out before me, little mountain village, and then there's this other mountain opposite me. It's got a little castle at the top. And one day, in my wisdom, I decided I'm going to walk to that mountain. It looks enormous. So I drove as far as I could and parked the car. And there's a point where the tree line stops, and suddenly you're through the brush, and if you keep climbing, you're down to bare rock. And then if you keep climbing and keep climbing, you get right to the summit of this glorious mountain. And when I got there, and obviously slightly unfit and out of breath, laboured breathing for a while, but when I got there and looked back, what really struck me on a deep, visceral level, guys, was how big my own mountain had been all along. But I'd always been looking across the valley at this other beautiful, glorious mountain that had a castle on top, right? And it really impacted me because I thought, God, look at that. And when you look back, you can see it, right? But we spend so much time looking at other people. You don't ever zoom in on what is it that I do? What have I got to offer? So I want you to think about this. And the T in my Tame Your Brain program stands for terrain. Look at the terrain under your feet. Very often we look at the dirt beneath our feet, but we don't look at the elevation. We don't look at how far we've come. So I want you to do a little bit of homework around this. Grab a pen and write down 3 things. I want your skills, your certificates, and your superpowers. So skills, certificates, superpowers are 3 ways of thinking about what is it that I have to offer the world? What is it that can be useful to people? And there's a real power in remembering that you do some things really well that other people don't do quite so well. What is that? For me, it's talking all day. For me, it's learning great stuff about the brain that I can then pass on to other people. Oh, hello, kitten. I've got a helper. And it's about understanding what that thing is for you. You can look at your bookshelf and you might get a clue. You can look at what you subscribe to and you might get a clue. You can look at what I'm just going to move to. You can see my messy table and small kitten that's decided to join in. Hi, Bomber. But you've got something, and when you get a lock, when you get clear on exactly what that is and what that looks like, then you can actually try and you can actually try and get real solid on what it is that you change in other people's lives. What is it that you deliver to them? Because superpowers are intrinsic to you. So there are 4 different brain types, and I'm going to come on to this later on when we start talking more about flow and how to get out of your own way. When you know what brain type you are, it gets so easy because you know what your superpowers are. In those 4 quadrants, it's really precise. If anyone wants to know more about this, drop me a line. I'll talk you through what brain type you are. We can run a profile and you get a personalised plan for how to run your business, working with your flow state. So owning your mountain is about, number 1, getting that clarity, getting that terrain really clear in terms of what is it that I have to offer. And so I'm going to pull this together before the cats kick off even more in the background than they already are. We've now got a small war between my old girl and new boy starting. When we start to talk about superpowers, it gets really exciting. And what happens now is we can start to zoom in on the difference you can make in the world, because it's all about contribution, guys. It's all about how can you serve? How can you serve with honour? It's not about get rich quick. And that's another one of the deadly sins. And guess what we're coming on to next? So thanks for coming today, guys. Hope that's useful and got your brains whirring a little bit. Grab a pen and just do a little mind map of what is it that you do that comes easily to you that other people can't do. And write down every little thing that you know that you've got. And that might just be something like listening really well. It might be something like knowing what question to ask. And it might be something like holding space for someone, holding that sacred space so that they can let go and unpack. But get a list, get ready to get excited about knowing yourself a little bit more, because with self-knowledge comes self-worth. And as soon as you understand that part, it gets really cool. So thanks for coming. I'm Dr. Libby Kemkaran. Website is kemkaran.com. If you want more information, obviously we're here live in the Sisterhood for Entrepreneurs. Do drop a link of anything that's triggered you on this. If you know of any resources that you want to share with other people on this, that's really cool too, because this is all about that collaborative lifting each other up and helping us all grow to that next level. So day 4 of Advent, here we go, guys. 10 days to Christmas. Who can believe it? I'll see you all soon. Bye.